A very lovely good morning to all my students there. Now in my previous video, we had started up with the role of transporters in the transport of glucose, and we had finished up with a very important pathway, the major pathway actually, which is glycolysis. And I told you that glycolysis, being catabolic process, occurs in all the tissues depending upon the enzyme, as we discussed about glucokinase, as we discussed about hexokinase. And glycolysis is the ultimate pathway of oxidation of glucose. And the best part is it proceeds in both aerobic medium as well as anaerobic medium. So today we are going to study in this video that once this pyruvic acid is produced, what is the fate of pyruvic acid, right? So the topic of today's video would be link reaction. Now, as it is clear from the word itself, link means it is linking something. And what is it linking? It is linking to very, very important processes. So what happens basically here is, we know that one molecule of this glucose having 6 carbon atoms will be converted to form 2 molecules of pyruvate which has 3 carbon atoms. And now the question is, what is the fate of this pyruvic acid and where this reaction is occurring? This reaction is occurring in the cytoplasm, because we know glycolysis ka site is cytoplasm. Now the question is, this pyruvate can undergo different reactions at the same time. And if we talk about this, it has 3 carbon atoms. So first of all, let's concentrate on the fate of pyruvate. Right. Now, if we talk about this is pyruvate. And I will just mention the number of carbon atoms here. Now, this pyruvic acid can be converted into acetyl coenzyme A, which has 2 carbon atoms. Now, if a 3 carbon species is giving rise to 2 carbon atoms, simply 1 molecule of carbon dioxide is given out. So this is one fate, and the most important feature to remember about this is strictly irreversible reaction. We are going to discuss these reactions, all these reactions in detail, because this is what is the fate of this pyruvic acid, which is coming by the breakdown of glucose. And the enzyme here is PDH, which stands for pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. On the other hand, this pyruvic acid can accept a molecule of carbon dioxide. So you can just see, if it is losing, it is being converted into 2 carbon atom, but if it is gaining, it is converted into oxaloacetate. And if we talk about the number of carbon atoms in oxaloacetate, they are 4 carbon atoms. That means there is carboxylation. And the enzyme here is pyruvate carboxylase. So these are 2 very important reactions, I would say, that pyruvate in the presence of PDH will remove a molecule of carbon dioxide forming acetyl coenzyme A. It will accept a molecule of carbon dioxide forming oxaloacetic acid. Then this pyruvate, by reversible reaction, number of carbon atoms are going to remain the same, will be converted into lactate, which has 3 carbon atoms. And the name of the enzyme is LDH. And this reaction we have actually discussed in detail in enzymes also. So if you don't have a clarity here, you can just watch the video on enzymes. LDH, which has 5 isoenzymes. And I told you one very important thing, LDH is actually enzyme present in the cytoplasm. And it is required for the conversion of pyruvate to lactate, which plays a very, very important role in the skeletal muscle also. Okay. And this pyruvate can also be converted into, again by reversible reaction, alanine. Again, the number of carbon atoms remains the same. But here the enzyme is alanine transaminase, ALT, which is commonly known as SGPT, which is clinically a very important marker enzyme of liver diseases. Again, we have discussed this enzyme in detail in enzymes. So this is the fate of these three molecules of pyruvic acid, which have actually come from glucose, which has 6 carbon atoms. Now here we have to see, again I'll just try to bring this thing in your mind, that we should know what is the site of a reaction. Site is very important. Then energetics and then regulation. So here in this video we will be actually focusing on this reaction and we will be focusing on this reaction. This conversion of pyruvate to alanine we are going to discuss under protein metabolism, protein or amino acids you can say, and this is again under gluconeogenesis we are going to cover. But here we will be focusing on these two reactions. Now see, first of all, let's take conversion of pyruvic acid to lactic acid. Okay. So first reaction is this pyruvate, again having 3 carbon atoms, in the absence of oxygen. Very important this is. And this reaction is taking place mainly in the skeletal muscle. And the enzyme here is LDH, which stands for lactate dehydrogenase, and simply pyruvic acid is converted into lactate, having 3 carbon atoms. This is the complete reaction. And the interesting part about this reaction is coupled to actually the only aerobic reaction of glycolysis, if you remember, which is 3-phosphoglycerol-aldehyde to 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. So these two reactions are coupled. That is why we say that glycolysis predominates in anaerobic medium also. Even if it is taking in aerobic medium, that NADH will be calculated in anaerobic because that is coupled with this. So we do not involve this. Okay. And if this reaction is taking place in the presence of oxygen, it will be converted, or you can say one molecule of carbon dioxide will be given out, converting pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A, which has 2 carbon atoms. And here the enzyme is PDH. And if we talk about, because these are the two important, very important fates of pyruvic acid, if we talk about this reaction, I can simply write it down that this is a reversible reaction. And this is an irreversible reaction. Second important point to remember about this is that this reaction, conversion of pyruvate to lactate, is taking place in the cytoplasm. And this reaction, now always keep one thing in mind, wherever we talk about the term oxygen or oxidation, it is always confined or restricted to the mitochondria. So obviously, since this is in the presence of oxygen, as I have written here, so this takes place in the mitochondria. Right? Now, another important point is pyruvic acid is present where? It is synthesized in the cytosol by glycolysis. So pyruvic acid via a carrier protein will be transported to the mitochondria. So I can say third point will be simple transport of pyruvate to the mitochondria. And if we talk about this reaction is actually the dead end of glycolysis. Why? Because glycolysis will always terminate into the formation of lactic acid. So this is a dead end of glycolysis. And we always say it will give, and if we talk about the energetics, it will always give 2 ATP molecules. Right, and if we talk about this, in this reaction, since 2 molecules of pyruvic acid are there, so 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A will be there. So it will give rise to 5 ATP, or I would say 2 into 2.5, which equivalents to 5 ATP. So these are the major differences between the conversion of pyruvic acid to lactic acid and the conversion of pyruvic acid to acetyl coenzyme A. One requires oxygen, the other does not require oxygen. It can proceed without oxygen also. Right? Now the question is, how pyruvic acid is converted into lactic acid? This is clear. LDH is the enzyme. And how pyruvic acid is converted into acetyl coenzyme A, because this is a very important reaction in a sense that pyruvic acid is giving one molecule of carbon dioxide. So how it gives, in the presence of what it gives, this is all what we have to learn in this particular reaction. Okay. So first of all, let's take up this reaction in detail, that this pyruvic acid or pyruvate will be converted to acetyl coenzyme A. Pyruvic acid is this CH3, C double bond O, COOH. This carbon will be given out. And what will come? SH-CoA will come, obviously because it is acetyl-CoA. And this is CH3, C double bond O, SCOA. So, out of 3 carbon atoms, only 1 is given out. Like this. Just now I told you, always keep one thing in mind, that removal of carbon dioxide is known as decarboxylation. Now, since this reaction is taking place in the presence of oxygen, so I can say presence of oxygen, which means oxidation or oxidative. So, this process is known as oxidative decarboxylation. So, the name of the process is oxidative decarboxylation. Now the thing is that this oxidative decarboxylation, this is the name of the process. What is the enzyme? So I would write here, process is oxidative decarboxylation, and if we talk about the enzyme here is pyruvate dehydrogenase, or commonly we call it as PDH. So PDH, or it stands for pyruvate dehydrogenase. And the most important, rather interesting feature about this enzyme is that this enzyme is an example of multi-enzyme complex. So pyruvate dehydrogenase is an example of multi-enzyme complex. Now, what are these multi-enzyme complexes? As again it is clear from the word itself, multi, meaning they cannot work alone. They will require so many cofactors, so many coenzymes, so many enzymes to work. And the funda is simple. Here we have to just remove one molecule of carbon dioxide. But you can just imagine the efficacy of this reaction. Giving out one molecule of carbon dioxide requires so much of efforts. And this reaction plays a very, very important role in actually linking glycolysis with TCA, and plays a because TCA is the most important reaction of aerobic respiration, which plays a very important role in the brain also, right? So here I can simply say that this PDH is example of multi-enzyme complex, and if we talk about the structures, it has 5 coenzymes. 5 coenzymes and it has 3 enzymes. So you can just imagine how big it is. 3 enzymes and 5 coenzymes. So if we talk about the coenzymes, the most important one is B1 or the active form is TPP. It's the main enzyme, main coenzyme, okay. Then B2 is there. B2 is riboflavin or FAD we can write. B3 is niacin or NAD. B5 is pantothenic acid or SH-CoA and lipoic acid. So these are the 5 main coenzymes of PDH. And if we talk about the enzymes, it has E1, which stands for PDH itself, means pyruvate dehydrogenase. We have E2, which stands for dihydrolipoyl transacetylase. And the third one or E3, which stands for dihydrolipoyl dehydrogenase. So you can just imagine that how big the structure is of this PDH. And the most important coenzyme here is B1. Now the question is, why B1 is the most important coenzyme? Because here this B1 is the one which is taking this carbon dioxide out. Means it is actually acting as a carrier of this carbon dioxide. This one has to keep in mind. So it has this structure. And if we look at this structure, you can see that, enzyme, if you look at this reaction or the structure, you can see that simple 1 molecule of carbon dioxide is given out. But if we have to write the entire steps, it takes place in 5 steps. And what happens is, simple, you can say this pyruvate, coenzyme A, this TPP is going to take this carbon dioxide and it will be converted into hydroxyethyl TTP. Like this, or I will simply say carbon dioxide is given out, right? And then what happens is, then this oxidized, you can see everything is interrelated. Lipomide will be converted into acetyl lipomamide, and this will be converted into reduced lipomide. Lipomide is coming from actually this lipoic acid. And here acetyl lipomide, and you can simply say that acetyl coenzyme A will be given out. Now this reduced lipomide will be actually related to FAD, which will be converted into FADH2, again riboflavin, the active form, and this, and in the end NAD will be converted into NADH plus H positive. So this is the entire reaction. Simply this pyruvic acid is giving out carbon dioxide. TPP is being converted into hydroxyethyl TPP. That is why this is the main coenzyme, because it is actually the carrier of carbon dioxide. Then this oxidized lipomide will be converted into this, liberating acetyl coenzyme A, and then FAD will be converted into FADH2 and NAD will be converted into NADH plus H positive. So I can simply say that 1 molecule of pyruvate is giving one molecule of acetyl-CoA giving NADH plus H positive. Or we can say 2 molecules of pyruvate will give 2 into 2.5 equivalent to 5 ATP. So oxidative decarboxylation in the presence of pyruvate dehydrogenase complex will give 5 ATP when we talk about 2 molecules. If we talk about 1 molecule, it will give only 2.5. This is the entire reaction. Now coming over to this, first of all, if we talk about the clinical correlation of this. So if we talk about the clinical correlation, if you see clearly that this is the reaction which is going on. Pyruvate being converted into lactate and pyruvate being converted into acetyl coenzyme A. And just now this reaction is taking place in the presence of PDH. This is in the presence of LDH. If I say and this requires TPP as a coenzyme or B1. Now what is the clinical correlation? Suppose if I say that this B1 is deficient. Deficiency of B1 will lead to increased concentration of pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid will not be converted into acetyl coenzyme A, so this reaction will be blocked. Instead, pyruvic acid will be converted to lactate. Simple. So I can simply write it like this, that B1 deficiency will lead to accumulation of pyruvic acid leading to accumulation of lactate. And that is what happens in alcoholics also who are B1 deficient. There is lactic acidosis there. And that is why we say whenever a person is very much into alcohol and he is B1 deficient, it leads to loss of memory because the brain is the one which is affected. The heart is the one which is affected. And it also leads to neurological manifestations. It can lead to Wernicke's encephalopathy, Korsakoff psychosis, or overall we can say Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, which obviously we will be discussing in detail in vitamins also. But always remember this B1 TPP is a very, very important vitamin and it is a very important coenzyme of oxidative decarboxylation. So overall, I can just summarize this thing and I can say that simplest language में B1 or TPP deficiency leads to lactic acidosis. And we know that B1 is actually present in the polishings of the rice, or you can say in the aileron layer of grains or rice polishings. So when we are using basically polished rice, means which is say if we are removing that layer, जैसे normally if we eat white rice, we always say we should go for brown rice, we always say we should go for red rice. Why? Because it is having this B1 intact in it. But if we remove that, what will happen? It will lead to a removal of the aileron layer. That is why eating excess of white rice is also very, very harmful. So dietary usse bhi we can say red rice and brown rice is very important to the body. Why? Because it is rich in B1. So we can say that B1 deficiency will lead to lactic acidosis, which is simply hindering of conversion of pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A, thereby leading to the increased concentration of lactic acid or lactic acidosis. This is one very important aspect. And another important thing which we can see here is that pyruvate, when it is converted into acetyl coenzyme A, this reaction is irreversible. That means acetyl coenzyme A cannot be converted into That is why we always say that carbs can be converted to fats, but fats cannot be converted to carbohydrates. That is why if we can actually reduce the intake of carbohydrates, we can actually giving something good to our body. This is the reason why. Because fats can only be burnt, they cannot be converted into carbohydrates. Just because of one plain and simple reason, that PDH catalyzes irreversible reaction. And third important point which we gathered from here is that oxidative decarboxylation के लिए the coenzyme required is always TPP or B1. So for oxidative decarboxylation, coenzyme is TPP, or most commonly we can call it as B1. So these three are the very, very important points which one has to remember. So I can simply say that, I'll just highlight it also, that B1 deficiency will lead to lactic acidosis. Second is, carbs can be converted into fats, but fats cannot be converted into carbs. And third is, oxidative decarboxylation mein the coenzyme required is TPP or B1. Then this is a reaction, this is the energetics. Then we come over to the most important point, site mitochondria. Then comes the regulation. Now, if we talk about the regulation, here the most important enzyme, in fact the only enzyme in regulation here is pyruvate dehydrogenase. So I can say that this PDH will exist in two forms. It is going to exist in active form and it is going to exist in inactive, right? Now, if we talk about the active form, the structure of this active form is this. OH, OH. And if we talk about the inactive form, it is OP, OP. OH can be converted into OP. OP can be converted into OH. This again I have discussed in detail in covalent modification in my video on enzymes. Because when we discussed about this property, I told you a thing very clearly, that this covalent modification plays a very, very important role in the regulation of so many enzymes, right? So if we say OH has to be converted into OP, this becomes kinase. And if I say OP is converted into OH, it becomes phosphatase. Now the question arises, how this PDH is converted from active to inactive or vice versa. So there has to be some kind of mechanism operating in the body which is required for that. So always remember, increase in ATP to ADP ratio, increase in NADH to NAD ratio, or increase in acetyl coenzyme A to coenzyme A, PDH is inhibited. Very, very important. So whenever the ratio of ATP to ADP increases, NADH to NAD increases, or acetyl coenzyme A to coenzyme A increases, PDH is always inhibited. This one has to keep in mind. Now the question is how this PDH is converted from active to inactive and vice versa. So always keep one thing in mind, that insulin, I told you that insulin will always promote glycolysis. This we have discussed, and insulin is always going to promote pyruvate dehydrogenase. Okay, and if we talk about glucagon, glucagon will always inhibit glycolysis, and it will always inhibit PDH. Now the question arises that whenever the body has high insulin to glucagon ratio, simple concept, whenever the insulin to glucagon ratio is high, PDH will be active. And PDH की active form is always without phosphate. So active form is dephosphorylated. As you can see the structure here, this is dephosphorylated and this is phosphorylated. So I can say whenever the concentration or ratio of insulin to glucagon increases, PDH becomes active and it is dephosphorylated, and PDH will simply convert pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A. On the other hand, if there is decreased insulin to glucagon ratio, then what will happen? PDH. Here you saw it was active. Now here PDH will be inactive. And how PDH becomes inactive? It is now phosphorylated. So this reaction, acetyl pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A, will decrease. It will not take place for some time, or it will decrease. So this is how it is regulated. This is very important to understand, and we can just overall make a gist here that insulin, very important one, insulin being is an anabolic hormone, right? But it accelerates glycolysis and oxidative decarboxylation, which are an exception. Second important point which we have come to know is that insulin always accelerates or activates those I would say hormones or those enzymes which are active in dephosphorylated state. An example you have seen is PDH, pyruvate dehydrogenase, and reverse is applicable for glucagon. Glucagon is a catabolic hormone, but it accelerates gluconeogenesis. There we will study about fructose 2,6-bisphosphatase and pyruvate kinase. So it will actually convert PDH into inactive form, right? So I can say that second point is that in glucagon will convert PDH into an inactive or phosphorylated form. So automatically it will become inactive. So this is the mode of action of glucagon and insulin on PDH. And high insulin to glucagon ratio favors this reaction, whereas low will not favor this reaction. And along with this, other examples of multi-enzyme complexes, other enzymes which are actually example of multi-enzyme complexes are, so one is pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. If we talk about the reaction is oxidative decarboxylation. And if we talk about the vitamin which is required, it is B1 or TPP. Second important example of multi-enzyme complexes is alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, which is again oxidative decarboxylation, and the coenzyme is again TPP. And the third important example of a multi-enzyme complex is branched chain ketoacid dehydrogenase. Again oxidative decarboxylation, and the coenzyme is TPP. So just keep one thing in mind, that wherever in our body oxidative decarboxylation is going on, the coenzyme by default it would be B1 or TPP. So whenever B1 is deficient, these reactions are the ones which are going to suffer. This one has to keep in mind. Okay. So this is what is link reaction. So I'll just summarize everything. What we studied was, then one molecule of glucose having 6 carbon atoms is forming 2 molecules of pyruvate which has 3 carbon atoms, which forms 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A which has 2 carbon atoms. And these 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A will now enter into TCA cycle. And since this reaction which we studied now, it is linking glycolysis with TCA, as you can see here. That is why this is known as link reaction. And if we talk about the energetics, 5 ATP molecules are given out in this reaction. And this is a very, very important reaction. As you can see here, it is linking the 2 important processes, glycolysis and TCA. So this is all in this video about the link reaction, where we can simply say that now 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A will be produced, which will enter into TCA. Now, this reaction is occurring in the mitochondria, so automatically everything is now going to take place in the mitochondria. But always remember one thing, this reaction is taking place in the presence of oxygen. The other reaction in which pyruvic acid is converted into lactate was taking place in the absence of oxygen, which is taking place in the cytoplasm, plays a very important role in the skeletal muscle, where there is, whenever muscle comes into fatigue, we say that there is accumulation of lactic acid. And glycolysis ka dead end is always lactic acid in anaerobic medium. This also you have to remember. Another point, we can say carbohydrates can easily be converted into fats, as you can see this example of this link reaction, whereas acetyl coenzyme A या fats cannot be converted into carbohydrates directly, because the reaction is strictly irreversible reaction. That's all in this video on link reaction. Thank you so much.